All right. So yeah, this is really supposed to be interactive, and we're just going, hold on, I'm going to mute everyone. I hear cartooning in the background. Okay. So this is supposed to be interactive and really answer a lot of your guys' questions and give you tips and tricks and stuff on how to get to Success Club, how to invite people, how to talk to people, all of that stuff. And we're just going to start off by myself, Rachel, Addie, I don't know if Jen is on, Kate, and Kari. We all decided to share one tip with you guys. And some of the girls have a last minute tip. So like if it's like August 31st at 5 p.m., what the hell do you do type of thing. So I'll start and then I'll just pass it off to you guys. And my tip is, hold on, I still hear someone. Okay, so my tip is about live videos. One thing that's been working really well for me for the past couple of months is doing live videos, but not just a live video. Instead of, I think normal live videos are great, but using it as a way to invite someone. And so my tip with live videos is with a text, when you're starting to talk about whatever topic you're talking about, don't let the topic be an invite. Have the invite be at the beginning or the middle or the end, and have the topic be about something that would actually interest someone to click play or to watch live or to watch the recording. So for example, I actually did this today so I could have an example for you guys. Today for me was like a completely off day. I always work out like by 6 a.m. and I didn't, and it was just like totally off. And so I ended up working out at 1 p.m. or something, and halfway through I stopped my workout and because I was just like not feeling it, and I logged onto Facebook and saw a whole bunch of people commenting on my progress, and that like inspired me to finish my workout. So my topic was about how sometimes a coach needs to be inspired too, and I felt like I got a lot of interaction, lots of, I think it shows you like the views. I got a lot of views, and I think it's because people were like, whoa, really? Like, you know, sometimes people think coaches, we have it all. We're always excited. We're always like gung-ho about our workouts. So I was just like being real and raw. And I think that's why people listened in. And in the beginning, I opened up saying how in the morning, I was spending lots of time emailing people about my upcoming fitness group. And I just glossed right over that. It wasn't even an invite, but I put it out there. And then at the very end, I mentioned, if you're interested in learning more about that group, comment below or message me. And I've had 3 people message me, and I'm going to probably tomorrow reach out to everyone who liked it or commented and say, hey, I saw that you liked my live video. Thanks so much for tuning in or watching it. Were you at all interested in joining the group that I mentioned? Just to start the conversation. So, and I've done that lots of times, and some people that I've been too afraid to ask, because there still are those people, they end up reaching out to me. So I can give you guys more details, but really it's just find a general topic that would actually interest people to watch, and then throw in an invite. Don't say, hey everyone, I've got an invite for you, because that sounds too salesy. So that's my tip, if anyone else wants to chime in.
I think that's a really good tip. And I think for all of you moms out there, the newest thing is back to school. So the topic of conversation could be back to school and how it's working or how it's making you crazier or, you know, just whatever. And then go into what helps you with your sanity, which is working out and eating right and having a support system to cheer you on. So, you know, Sam and I aren't moms, so we have to kind of think outside of that mom box. But I definitely like that idea. Does anybody have any questions for Sam? Sam, what time did you go live with that video?
That was actually 2 p.m., which is a really random time, but I find, funnily enough, that my videos do better in like between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. because I think people catch it at work. But either 2 to 4, or usually I try and go live now, like between 8 and 9. And I will share with you guys that I get, this might be obvious, but the longer you talk, the more time people have to hop on and see you live. So it might be scary, but kind of like prolong it. Like my message was super quick today. Like I could have just hopped on and said, thanks so much for your support and encouragement. But instead I shared my story. I shared the thank you so much. And then I shared about how it's not, coaches aren't always like excited to work out and all of that. And then I ended with an invite. So I kind of like dragged it out, and that for the only purpose of more people hopping on live. And another tip for going live, if you say like, hey, Kate, I see you're on, thanks for joining, or hey, Addie, oh my gosh, thanks for joining, or loved your comment, Rachel, me too. Like if you're interacting with people, that will get them to say, haha, or just like to comment more on your live video, and more people will see it. It'll be boosted in Facebook. So the longer you're on and the more interactive it is, even though they can't talk to you, obviously, then that will boost it up so that more people can see it. That's it. Kate, do you want to go next?
Sure. For me, right now, I'm sitting at about 30, maybe 32 points right now. So Success Club has been an awesome month for August. But back in December, it was not like that. I was sitting at Success Club 4 for probably the last 3 weeks, and I needed that one more point. So what I did was I went back a month and a half, and I messaged everybody in my inbox from a month and a half. You can go back more, but I just went a month and a half. And I said, we're having great specials. Do you want to get your New Year started off right? You know, just whatever was coming up next, because it was the new year. And what I really had to do at the end of the day was I had to call up my mother-in-law, and I had to sign her. So, you know, if you're in that position where you've been sitting at 4 for a really long time, it's okay to reach out. Guess what happened to my mother-in-law after I signed her up with Shakeology? She lost 25 pounds. And now she tells all of her golfing buddies about it. And it's awesome. So that's one of the tips, is find somebody in your life that really supports you, and ask them. Just say, hey, I need you to do this. And Elena's awesome, and she did it. So that's one tip. The other tip, scrolling back through messages and just restarting those conversations. A lot of people, they forget. And when you just pop in and say, hey, I've been following your journey, and you mentioned something that they've posted in the last 3 weeks, and, you know, just say, hey, I wanted to reach out. It's been a while. They ask you about what you're doing. And then that starts the conversation all over again with, you know, you're on your journey and you're helping people lose weight and you've lost this much. And, you know, you just share your story with them, and they bite or they don't bite, but at least you've got the conversations going. So I always just do that, scroll back into my messenger. I usually do that every Wednesday, actually, and it's not just at the end of the month. So that's a good one to use. Does anybody have any questions? Is anybody afraid to sign their family up? No, Olga.
Kate, someone wrote in the box, what if I'm new and haven't built the relationships? How do I reach out?
I think you have to start with your warm market. I really think that you invite people to go on your journey with you. And if you're uncomfortable sharing with your I track my convo. I don't track my combos. I'm terrible at it. I just literally scroll back through the messenger. But if you're not utilizing your warm market, you really need to probably do a gut check on, is this the right business for you? Because what are you trying to push on your family? Trying to push nutrition, fitness, positive mindset, a healthy lifestyle? Like, I'm trying to sign my husband, brother's mom, and they won't. How are you trying to do it? Are you trying?
Your husband doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, totally agree with that. But I think that you have to go at them and how it will benefit them. Like for my mother-in-law, she was not going to jump around and do an insanity or even a 21-day fix. She's 72 years old. She's not going to do it. But I said, you can drink this shake instead of eating a bologna sandwich every day at noon like you normally do. And she said, okay, I'll give that a try. You know, figure out how it can work into their lifestyle. Sit down and really say, give me 30 days. You know, you've known them your entire life. They can give you 30 days. And if they hate it, they can return it. But you'll have those 2 points going forward into the next month. You might have to work your ass off a little bit more if they do return it, and that's okay. It happens. So yes, I am not a tracker. I just literally scroll back until it says a different date that I like. Anybody have any questions?
I might add in on the signing up your family and friends. Sometimes they may start out reluctant, but when you're consistent and you can be proof of the product, I mean, I know we preach that all the time, but when they see that you're not popping pills or wrapping it up or doing something crazy, then they're probably going to jump on board anyway. I mean, I didn't talk to my warm market at first at all because I thought my mom would laugh at me because she's like that kind of Midwestern skeptic. So, but the more I was consistent about it, she's a Shakeology 365er now. So she doesn't do a workout. She owns them and says, oh, I should do a workout, but she doesn't do it. But she drinks Shakeology and is just like Elaine and tells her friends about how great it makes her feel. So, I mean, being proof of the product weighs a lot in that situation, I think.
I also feel like sometimes they're doing it just to support you. Like my mom is signed up. She's actually never drank Shakeology. She is a yoga teacher. She's never done, she did Paya with me once because I made her. But like she doesn't do any of Beachbody stuff. She literally signed up because I told her that I needed her to one month and that she knew like how passionate I am about it. And she was like, I'm going to do this for you, because I know that it'll help your business. So that's awesome if people do actually start drinking it, and obviously we'll see results with it. But yeah, like your husband definitely needs to be signed up. Just explain how it's helpful in the business. And I have a video. It's on YouTube, so anyone can look at it. And it's the importance of signing up your spouse or close friend as a coach. That's a little bit different. But watch that with your spouse, I would say, and so they can start to see like why it is perfect timing for them to sign up right now and not wait.
Yeah, we make a significant amount of our income through my husband's account. And if I would have waited to sign him up, we wouldn't be doing that. So don't wait. Addie, you want to go next?
Sure. My big tip is I use events a lot, and it's a little bit of extra work because you have to have a picture and you have to invite people to it. But it's worked for me for a year and a half. So I think that the key for me with events is that I've done it the same way every month. 3 weeks before my next group starts, I create an event and I invite everybody on my list. And I feel like it is a low pressure way to invite. Like it's low pressure for me, especially when I started out. It was easy to just click and not think about who I was inviting to. So it made me get a little bit brave. And it's easy for them because they don't have to actually respond to me in a message if they're not interested or uncomfortable right now. So I've gotten a lot of people that I've been like, oh, I had no idea they'd be interested in that, who have signed up to coach and for a challenge group because of that event. It's a lot less scary for both sides involved, as really at any point in your business. And now I have to do a lot more work to post in it, and I create more than one event, and Facebook is, got rules about how many you can invite to one specific event. So, I make 3 or 4 events and to get everyone on my list this time. But then I gradually will post like transformation pics, and I'll post, information on programs or what I'm doing or how the group is in the event to keep bringing it back to people's attention. And when I do multiple events, I do that for a challenge group. But if I'm going to do for coaching, yes, Megan, my list is all my friends on Facebook. Obviously, I don't invite like my husband's 97-year-old grandma who's on Facebook, or, other, like I don't invite Kate, but, I go through and I pick the people that, are in that age range and that I'm kind of targeting. But I do use events sometimes, like when Raina's hosting a sneak peek, or if I'm hosting a sneak peek, I'll make one and I will go through and hand pick everybody that I've talked to ever about coaching and everybody that I think would be cool. And then I invite them, and then I watch the responses, or then I'll message those people because I've got a list from there. And again, I've gotten people, my best friend Rachel is on this call right now, and I had no idea she wanted to be a coach until she hit click on an event, and she's been with me for a year. So So for me, they've really made a difference. I'm sure at some point I may have too many friends and it might be too much work and I might shift how we do it. But right now it's worth every minute that I spend on it because, it helps me get to Success Club every single month. So that's my big tip.
Addie, what do you say to people? Do you reach out to people when they say going or interested? And if so, what do you message them saying?
I message them and I just say, I am so excited that you're interested in my new group. Please fill me in on your thoughts and your goals. And that's it. I keep it very simple, but I always let them know that I'm really happy that they are interested. And even if it's like an accidental, that's okay. At least it sparked that conversation. And even if they just say 5 words to me, it's an interaction. So it's going to boost me in their feed. So
it's kind of funny you mentioned that because one of my diamond coaches said that she was going to one of my events. This was like a year ago. And it was a mistake. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It like automatically did it. I'm not interested, but thank you. But it like planted the seed. And now she started off as a discount coach and then worked the business. And now she's a diamond. So it can trickle down in that way too.
Right. You ever get responses from people to the tune of being annoyed that they get an event invite? Yes, I actually have gotten that. I've gotten a nasty gram from a couple of different people. And I've been forward enough to just say, that there's a setting for that you can block me from sending events. Because it's the honest to God truth. You can block people from sending you events. And I've also said, because when I first started, there was a formula that you copy and pasted and put into the box and it automatically invited all your friends list. And so I've just told people that too. I'm like, I use a code. It invites everybody automatically. I didn't realize that, it was such a big deal. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. But really, I find that to be just as annoying that they take the time to send me a message. I mean, I guess in my defense, it's interaction. And so I'm boosted. But, it's a lot easier to just say no or delete it. I get invited to stuff all the time and I just, don't pay attention. So.
I just saw a question in the chat. It says, is it okay to send a cold invite? Do you want to give your thoughts on that or anyone?
I mean, I can. I don't think that there's anything wrong with sending a cold invite. I personally don't do it because I'm a former. I would rather send a hey girl about their kids or their school or their trip to the zoo and build a relationship starting from there. I spend a lot of time making friends before I send a cold invite because it's easier for me. Cold invites make me feel icky personally, but I know other people have a lot of success with them. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I feel the same way as Addie. I kind of use events as my cold invite. I may have, my list of new friends that I've added in the month, and those are always the ones that I invite to that event first. So that's kind of my cold invite. And then, even before I've sent that event invite to them, I've been liking their pictures and commenting on their posts and stuff like that. So it's not like it's the first they've seen of me. But you kind of start that non-direct interaction first, and then kind of the first invite you send is through an event that kind of seems like a cold invite because you haven't specifically mentioned Beachbody or fitness or anything like that. But I'm not big into just being like, hey girl, I've got a challenge group coming up. Have you ever thought about joining? That like Addie said, kind of feels icky and not very warm and fuzzy. So
I will say for 2 to 3 months, probably, I did strictly cold invites because I was like, I don't know, I wasn't getting anywhere with forming, and like even the people I formed weren't purchasing or signing up. So I was giving that a try and it worked for me. But the people that joined, since there was no relationship there, they stopped their Shakeology the second I helped them cancel as soon as they ordered. They did not become coaches. So they weren't quality people. And this month I was at Success Club 0 until August 16th, which for me, I was just like, pulling my hair. I try and get like Success Club 10 by the 10th. So to be at 0 on the 16th was like unheard of for me. And the main difference that I've done this month is the opposite of cold invites. I spent from the 1st to the 16th just connecting with people and sending invites, but going from an invite back to interacting, then connecting, then engaging with them on their page. And now I'm at Success Club 14 or 16 just based, and it's like this month I'm only connecting with people and then sending an invite once a week. So I have done both. I say try it. You never know. Maybe your market will respond well with cold invites, especially if it's your warm market, but typically forming has been done better for me too.
Yeah. Anita Myron has an invitational video. It's on her YouTube channel. It's like 3 ways to invite, and it has a cold invite that you can actually like write down and use it. Like I used that in January when I wanted to kickstart my business. I sent out 50 of those a day for, forever.
And Sam, you do a little bit of cold inviting. I mean, I feel like it's maybe a middle ground of inviting plus forming when you do your Instagram reach outs, right?
Yeah, so actually I do it both ways for coaching and challenge groups now on Instagram. For coaching, I like 3 of their photos and I comment on at least 2 of them. And then I send them a message, and my coaching invite is like, hey, I stumbled across your page and I'm loving your posts. And then I say whatever I love about it. And then for coaching, I end with, are you a fitness coach? So and usually they say, no, I'm not, but thanks. And from there, instead of saying, would you like to learn more about what I do? I back up and form. So then I'm like, oh, I totally thought you were a coach. What exercises do you enjoy? So it kind of like gets the topic on health and fitness, but then I jump back to forming, which makes it that much easier in like 5 more sentences to be like, listen, everything you've said makes me so inspired to ask you to be a coach on my team. Would you like to learn more about what I do? So it is kind of the middle ground. Like I jump into it and then I kind of backpedal and then I jump back into it again.
I love that. I'm like taking notes like crazy just from you guys.
Oh wait, I see Saria, you raised your hand. You raised your hand. Do you have a question?
You got to unmute yourself, girlfriend. Little button. Ding, ding.
Like that?
There you go.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what do you say when people say it's a scheme? Like, that's like a thing I get all the.
Can you repeat that?
You hear me?
You're like an alien. Can you repeat your question or type it into the chat box? I see, Kara. Is there a way to see on Facebook people you friended recently? Yeah, you can actually, Kara, go to your profile page and then click on friends and then recently added.
So Addie, and when you create your events to invite, right? I've seen you share them sometimes to your page. Do you do that like only once per group, or do you do like once a week? Do you see it become more, effective when you do that? Do you get people that reacted more to your sharing that event on your page rather than sending the invite? Does that make sense?
Truthfully, when I do that, it's when I have created the events and haven't invited anybody yet.
Got it.
Like, it takes some time to invite 2,500 people to an event, and you have to click everyone. And Facebook only lets you invite so many at a time. So it usually takes me like doing it off and on all day to get it done. It's not hard. It just takes a few minutes every hour or so. So if I do that, it's when I've made the events and I know people can see them, but I haven't actually gotten everything invited yet. So, or if I need a post.
Right. Okay. And that's why I was asking, because I'm like, well, if there's a benefit to it, but then that kind of takes away from my one post of that week, is there a science to it, or should I just like worry about inviting rather than sharing that event?
Yeah, there's no science to it.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump in with my advice because I don't know how long this baby's going to last. This is Harrison, by the way. He's my sidekick.
Hi.
Hi, they say hi to you, baby. Okay, so I want to start by saying this advice, I was kind of iffy on if I would share it, but it has worked for me in the past, so I'm going to do it. The official rules from Beachbody are that you can only earn 2 Success Club points per customer. But I will say for 90% of the people that I've signed up again, I get those 2 additional points. So I usually get up to 4 points. Even like 4 points for a customer only, not just like 2 points customer, and then if they sign as a coach, 2 additional. So getting those 2 additional points from a current customer is my advice. So what I usually do if I am scrounging for SC points at the end of the month, I go back to all the customers that bought a challenge group or a challenge pack the month before, and I, follow up with them, and I, ask how everything's going. Are you loving your Shakeology? Blah blah blah. If they seem interested, like they want more Shakeology, or maybe, maybe they just got the 21-day fix and they're already done, and you think they're going to want a new program soon. I follow up with those people and I let them know. I say, if you are interested in getting another bag of Shakeology, you can actually purchase another challenge pack. It's going to save you money and you're going to get basically a new program for free. So I walk them through how to cancel their current home direct order, send them a link for another challenge pack. So they've got a whole new challenge pack. You've got 2 more points, and it all works out for everybody. And like I said, it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes your points don't show up and you're like, God damn it. But hey, at least you got some extra commission and your customer is happy because they saved some money. So it's not the end of the world if the points don't show up. But like I said, 90% of the time they have always shown up. So that's the first tip, is to go back to your customers from last month. And then additionally, I have a lifetime accountability group. So anyone who's ever purchased anything from me, they're in this lifetime group. And I know lifetime groups can be a whole nother topic in themselves. But at the beginning of the month, I always make sure that that group knows what the challenge group specials are for the month. I have very few people that stay on HD. And then I have people that only want more Shakeology when, sorry, baby, when they're really focused on getting back into shape or whatever, usually, at the beginning of the summer. But I always make sure that, hey, you want to watch, everybody? I always make sure that that group of people know what the specials are. And I let them know. I said, hey, if you want to get another challenge pack, you're invited to my challenge group, blah, blah, blah. And I, no joke, usually have 1 or 2 customers, repeat customers every month that get another challenge pack, and those points show up. So just making sure everybody knows what those specials are. And like, I don't share specials or posts like that with all of Facebook because it's salesy. But when you're doing that in your lifetime accountability group, it's a private group. I don't feel bad about posting a picture with all the challenge pack specials for the month. And then this is just kind of implied, but if you have obviously customers who are really enjoying your challenge, the challenge group or whatever, and they want to sign up a discount coach, I always suggest that they just get another challenge pack. What I usually say is, if you're wanting another program, and you're obviously going to get more Shakeology, it's easiest just to cancel your current HD and sign up with another challenge pack. Instead of dealing with paying the $40 and getting it refunded and just skip that whole process, get another challenge pack, and your 2 additional points show up. So, so that's my tip. Like I said, those points aren't guaranteed, so it's kind of a last resort. I wouldn't spend, hours and hours doing that until you've exhausted all your other last minute point resources. So, and lastly with that, if you got 2 additional points for a customer, don't say anything to coach relations about it, because they'll be like, oh, you're not supposed to have 2 additional points. I'm going to go take those away. So just act like it never happened, be happy that they showed up, and move on with life. That's my advice.
So maybe don't record this video and put it up on YouTube.
We can make it to where they have to have the link to see it.
That's how I built my husband a diamond, by doing that, flipping customers to coaches.
Yeah.
Yep. Worked out really well.
Okay, were those coaches under you and then you put them under him for the second challenge pack?
You got it.
See, the only difference with that is now with that coach change form, I think they have to have all of their, they're strictly having all of their info now. And I think that specific person has to go in and change it.
I have no idea. I just sent them under his account.
But don't you have to go in and do a coach change for them?
No, because they're a coach now. They're not a customer any longer.
But they're not already put under you as a customer?
They are, but they're not a customer account anymore. They're a coach account.
And when you send them a new link, like with that different coach ID, most of the time it just switches to that coach. It doesn't even say like you have to change your coach, or it won't go automatically to Kate.
Yeah. And because you have them cancel their customer order of Shakeology HD, they're not getting double charged. I could use another email, but most people like their email. That's just what I've learned. I have like 4 different emails, so I'm not like that. But
Sorayas, and I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. She says, I was trying to say, how do you respond when someone says it's a pyramid scheme? For me, I focus on the fact that someone in my downline can make more than me. I say that my income is not a percentage of what my team makes. My team could earn more than me if they wanted. So it's all about the product that they sell, because we sell stuff, and if your team is working the business. So I do a variation of that. But actually, Leslie Cortez has a really good post that I refer people to all the time, and it's actually a pyramid, two sets of a pyramid. One is Beachbody. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It says what was it? On one side it said CEO on the top for both, and it's on one side it was like $1 million, and you underneath were like $25,000, and this side said CEO $1 million, you still down here but $5 million, and that's like how Beachbody, you can make more than your upline coach. So that's what I reference when people ask me about that.
and I always ask them if they actually know what a pyramid scheme is. And pyramid schemes are illegal. And Beachbody's been around a long time, and they're rated, A++ by the Better Business Bureau, and a pyramid scheme would not be rated that. So. Cara, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So I do mine a little bit different even than those ladies. I strictly, for me, stick to, or have been in the last month, sticking to the Power of Threes follow-ups. It's all in the Luxe Republic. I think everyone's in here. If everyone's not in here, we can post the link to that. It's just a Word document. And I do just like Kate does, and I go down. I have spent a couple days completely clearing out my inbox, my messenger. So literally when I go down to the bottom, it's the people I haven't followed up with in the past. So I think mine's down to June right now. So I know I can go all the way down and start with the Power of Threes of follow-ups. So on the Power of Threes, we have challenger invites, people that have commented or people that are currently challengers to convert to coaches, people that have declined previously. Also, people in your news feed, that kind of goes a little bit into that cold inviting of, hey girl, I see you posting all the time about health and fitness. I love seeing you in my news feed. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Kind of that type of cold invite, which I've talked to Sam, and I'm kind of going in the route that she's going, kind of taking that step back and really doing the forming. But the follow-ups as well go back to, there's 3 different follow-ups there. The first one is, hey, I wanted to send you a follow-up and touch base and finish helping you get started. That's for someone that you've like sent a link to or the information and they haven't responded. The second one is, hey love, we haven't been able to connect, even express an interest in our group with me at one point. I wanted to see if you still had an interest or would like to chat, or you'd rather me take you off my contact list. So I send this one if I have at least 3 no responses from that person, because no one wants to be taken off that contact list. And just today, I had someone say, actually, yeah, if you'll go ahead and take me off in a couple months, I might be interested in your group, but right now I'm doing this and this with school. I said, that is awesome. I totally understand what you're going through. I'll follow up with you in November or whatever it was. And then I go into my tracking system, which is Teensy, and I find their name and I log that I connected with them, and I put their follow-up date for November 1st. And then I know not to follow up with them. I mean, I also interact with them in my newsfeed, but that is one person that has their mindset on not right now, and then I'll follow up with them again in November. And so if I've sent that message, which that's where some of my June follow-ups come from, I send the last one that says, hey love, I tried to reach out to you a few times with no success, so I'm going to go ahead and take you off my follow-up list. If coaching or a group is something you'd like to chat about in the future, please don't hesitate to message me. I'm happy to give you more info. I'm not going anywhere, and you know where to find me. You know where to find me, smiley face, best of luck to you. And I do that, like that's how my conversations go every single time. So I go back just like Kate does from the bottom of my inbox and just see where I'm at in these conversations. Or if it's something they said, hey, I'm going to sign up, and then they said, I have to wait till next month. I'm going to get a notification in my Teensy that I need to follow up with them next month or in 2 weeks. And so I have follow-ups in my tracking system every single day, because I took the time to go through my inbox and put people in that tracking system. And tracking's, there's 1,000 different ways to track, and some people do it pen and paper, and that's okay. But I encourage you guys, if you're not tracking, to do some sort of it, because we all don't have a photographic memory like Kate does. But it's been super helpful for me. Colby and I were at Success Club 16, and I feel like it's because I've really buckled down and tracked and focused on each person individually and when is a good time for them. That's how I do my follow-ups. If I'm desperate at the last minute, what I do sometimes like a flash 24-hour sale. Some people think this is salesy. It's worked for my business. I do the Fix8 cookbooks because I think they're fantastic to do with the 21-day fix. I use those recipes all the time. I post about them all the time. So I word mine as, hey girl, hey, you know your favorite store does a flash sale over Labor Day weekend. I'm doing one for the 21-day fix, and I know you mentioned that it was something you're interested in. I'm giving away a free Fix8 cookbook to go with it. And I think they're like $12 or $14 with your coach price. So you're still making money off of that, and you're giving them something that's of value to go with their program. So, and I only do those if I'm one, desperate, or it's the last day of the month and I've got someone that's just kind of like teetering. And I think the Fix8 would help them. So I would say probably the last 6 months, that's pretty much all I've promoted as far as an extra on those last minute, last day pushes is the Fix8 cookbook, because that's been helpful for me. So if you guys want the follow-up or the power of threes, like I said, I think it's in Luxe. It also goes through follow-ups for coach potentials, like what to say for them in a sets of 3, as well as presenting the business opportunity. And inviting to the sneak peek. And I use that, and I have loved it ever since I opened it up. And Raina has been saying for probably 6 months that it's in there, and I just never opened it up. And then someone mentioned it, and I go to that every single time for my conversations. So yeah, Sam said Asana is great too for tracking. She uses Google Streak. So it's kind of just finding what works for you.
I have this.
Some people use pen and paper. Raina, who is in the top of the company, didn't start tracking until the beginning of this year and used pen and paper. Like I said, I don't suggest that because it doesn't work for everyone. And if you get started with tracking now, it's easier than when you have a larger organization and then you want to go in to start tracking, because that's a bigger frog to eat. If anyone's read that book, Eat That Frog, it gets bigger and bigger the bigger your organization gets. So if you start now in tracking, then it won't be as big of a burden.
I also think tracking now, no matter where you're at in your business, gives you time to switch your method. Because for me, I started with pen and paper, and then I did Excel, which worked very well for me, but I did like lots of different formats of Excel. And now I'm using Google Streak, which I think this is like it's going to be amazing. I love it so much so far. But it took me 2.5 years to get to this point. And I didn't even track right away either. So yeah, just start tracking if you're not, with any method that sounds good to you right now, and then be open to changing if it's not working for you.
Does anybody have any questions?
What do you prioritize in your power hour? Adding, inviting, or follow-ups?
I think towards the end of the month, it's follow-ups for me. But at the beginning, it's forming, and in the middle, it's inviting. So
that's exactly this month. Yeah, beginning is forming, then inviting like crazy, and then following up like crazy. Follow-ups is how I hit Success Club every month, though, which is tough as a new coach because you don't have that many follow-ups, which means you just need to be inviting more people until you have that massive follow-up list.
I also want to just touch real quick on the worm market in the family, because I have most of my family has jumped in, with my parents and Kobe's parents, and we put them in the beginning of our business. And as our business now has grown, they're benefiting from that as well, as far as team cycle bonus and things like that. So keep that in mind too. And when you're talking to your family, letting them know about those golden egg opportunities, about being at the beginning of a business that's going to grow, and how important that is.
I have something kind of related but unrelated that I think is important to mention too. You could track all day and you can figure out what priorities are and all that stuff. But the biggest key, I think, and you guys shut me down if you don't agree, is
shut down.
Consistent about it. Like, no matter what you're gonna choose to do it every day. Even if it takes 15 minutes or 2 hours, do whatever that is every single day. If that means that you say, I'm going to post 5 times and they're going to be quality posts every single day, then do it. Like, to me, I think consistency is almost more important than anything else, is that you're there and you're present and people know when to expect you, because that's a piece of that trust building. However I mean to say that's a factor in building the trust, so that when they are ready, they have that faith in you because they know you've been there as far as your own journey. They've watched all of that. They've watched you consistently send them messages from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. They've watched you consistently post challenge group invites from 7 to 8 at night. You know what I mean? Every tiny little step adds up to the total package. And, no matter what it is that you choose to do first, do it every day and commit to it. Because doing it 2 days a week or doing it sometimes isn't gonna cut it if you want this to really be successful.
And I think in addition, good Lord, stutter a lot. Setting your goals high. Don't set your goal for 5 and then barely hit it. Set your goal really, really scary, and then do the crazy amount of work that you think it's going to take to hit that scary goal. And those little like Success Club 5, Success Club 10 goals are just going to come naturally, and you're going to get better and better and better. And you're going to be at 10 by the 10th, and you're going to be like, whoa, I have 20 more days. What do I do with 20 more days? And then that's when you hit the 20s and the 30s and 40s and bigger numbers. So, you know, that's where the income comes. That's where the confidence comes. And that's when it becomes really fun and blows up.
Yeah, leaving Success Club until the end of the month, as you guys know, is not fun. That's when you get stressed and worried and frustrated, and you focus on the numbers rather than the people. So like Kay said, pushing hard as you can the first week of the month will set you up for a much better month. You don't want to be there sitting at Success Club 4 on August 31st. That's like the last place you want to be. So don't do that to yourself. And you are in control of that. You can decide whether you're in that position or whether you've beat your goal and you're at Success Club 10 on August 25th. That's up to you and your action. So keep that in mind, and don't wait until the last minute next month if you guys are there this month. Any questions? Is that what you're going to say?
We're not scary.
What'd you say?
I said we're not scary. Everyone's being so quiet.
It's almost my bedtime. I'm half asleep. No, I mean, this has been a ton of really awesome information. Sam is my upline, and I've been talking with her, and I've set a kind of scary goal to hit diamond by the end of next month. And I am really kind of struggling with follow-ups and getting a hold of people. That's Loki. And so actually this week I am really working on getting successful by the time I leave for New Orleans this weekend, because I don't want to really have to worry about it as much. And so I have a group chat. I have a really, really big Irish family. So I basically put all of my aunts and my female cousins and my sisters in a chat. And I was like, hey guys, I'm doing this challenge and there's money to be won. And I fell off the bandwagon and I need some help. What do you think? Because a lot of us already do Fitbit challenges. And so it was kind of like, hey, you know, you're already kind of trying to put those steps in. Here's the next option. And so I've gotten a lot of feedback on that. And the forming is definitely kind of picking up, because I've only really been doing this for about a month. So working on making those relationships has kind of been the hardest piece.
I'm glad you mentioned that. She mentioned the health bet, you guys. Use that to your advantage. That like has such an insane potential of getting people to join you. And if you don't know what it is, just quickly, all it is anyone who joins any My Challenge Tracker app, or any challenge groups hosted through the My Challenge Tracker app, if they log 3 workouts a week and 5 shakes a week from September 5th to October 2nd, you will be winning money, and you'll be splitting the pot with anyone else who reaches that goal. And the pot right now is, I think, at 1.2 million, but it'll go up to 3 million. So huge incentive there. One of my coaches said you could potentially earn your money back, which I kind of like. I don't know how much money we're going to be winning, but I loved that, because I was like, oh, that's like, why wouldn't you want to win money? And I don't know about you guys. I was searching. Have you guys heard of the diet bet? It's exactly like that, except you like pay into it or something.
Yeah, I did one a couple months ago, and I did it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you paid in like $30, and you had to lose 1% of your body weight in like 4 weeks. And a couple of my challengers got like $50.
That's awesome.
I actually think Jocelyn won, but I don't think he ever sent in our PayPal address.
So it's exactly like that. I feel like that's the market we're tapping into, because there's clearly a market if there's a whole business set around diet bets. So use that to your advantage. Do lots of different posts and promote that. I'm going to do a live video actually on that tomorrow night. So use that.
I actually, yesterday, I composed a message and sent it to anyone from like the past 3 months that was on my list for my challenge group that didn't commit. Like the people that were like wishy-washy and weren't interested, or said they had money concerns. I just made like a script message that was pretty casual and sent it out to all those people. I think I sent like 30 messages yesterday, and I haven't really gotten too far with it, but I was a space cadet and didn't do good follow-up either. So, and then today I did it with everyone in my challenge group, and that really went well.
All right, so what is something that you guys are struggling with? Why are you not at Success Club 5 or 10 right now? I see lots of smiles, so clearly you're thinking of something.
I seem to have friends with like really bad luck lately. And so I was talking about, I have a girlfriend who wanted to join to be a coach, but she's in Louisiana where they got hit with all that rain. And so she's kind of put that on the back burner. I have 2 girlfriends who are going through recent surgeries. I have, my sister just gave birth on Friday, so she asked for like a 2-month pass. And so I feel like just life, like big kind of life things have gotten in the way. But I think the other thing is definitely the cost. And I know we kind of joked about this, like the girl who didn't want to buy a challenge pack but bought a boat. For some reason, this health pack where it's like, oh, you exercise and you try and eat well. It just seems like this huge, scary thing to the point where I've had a couple people go, I don't want to set myself up for failure, so I'd rather just not start. I think I've had now 2 or 3 people say that to me. And so I'm working on trying to, slow and steady wins the race. Like, you don't have to work out all the time. You don't need a six-pack abs at the end of the month. Like, it's just small, consistent changes that grow over time. And so it's not about your results next week. It's how you're feeling next year, and it's those long-term thoughts, but it's just kind of putting that into words and whatever else.
Kay, Addie, or Cara, I was looking at Cara. Kari, do you guys have a response to that? Because I know Meg and I have talked about that, but do you guys have that too?
I think that if you boil it down to the cost per day of $4 a day, that they have that 30-day money-back guarantee, and it's usually a 21-day program, they're going to have 9 days of leeway to say, this was the right thing for me, or this wasn't the right thing for me. And I think that when I really put it out there and say, ask them during the conversation, what have they tried and what has worked and what hasn't worked. What we're doing is we're being active 30 minutes a day. We're eating good food. We're drinking a healthy shake. Like, it's not rocket science. And I'm sure that, I just try to put it out there as logically as I can.
I would also be intentional about your posting about that too. I would directly be posting about things like that. I know for me, the questions that people have are asking me privately. I either make a video or I do intentional posting throughout the day, like that evening time when I know people are just sitting there scrolling at night. If they're asking you those specific questions, I would direct some of your posting to answering those, because if they're saying that, I'm sure someone else is thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and I definitely need to get better about that, because I was never like a big social media person. And so it's kind of like jumping in that and remembering that I need to post and then making it intentional.
I had 2 people I did a Shakeology live video because I was just so frustrated and I like reined it in. But I did a Shakeology live video about someone sending a coach of mine a link saying they weren't going to drink Shakeology because they got an 8.5 rating out of 10. And I was just like, wait, what? And I broke it down on why. I literally pulled the article up and broke down why they were saying it got an 8.5. And I'm like, would you go see an 8.5 movie? Is your McDonald's, an 8.5?
I was going to say, people eat hot dogs and McDonald's.
That's that processed cereal that you're feeding your children. Like, do you think that gets an 8.5? And that's like the lowest one that it gets. There's a lot of 9.2s, 9.1s, things like that. But she literally pulled that one. And then I broke down what was in it. It was because the vitamin C was coming from ascorbic acid as opposed to the broccoli that they proclaim that it's in that. And I'm like, where does it matter where the vitamin C is coming from? Like, you're getting it. Like, I don't understand. So someone messaged me that privately and I posted that. And then I had 2 people message me that day they were like, you know what, you're right. Like, I don't eat breakfast anyway, and I don't know why I'm so afraid of what's in it. Let's just do it. I can return it if I don't like it. And so that's what I'm saying about your intentional posting. If you have people say things like that and make your posting about, I mean, don't call out and be like, yeah, well, Susie said that she didn't want to drink it because of this, and here's why I think that's false. No, I would just be intentional the next couple days, because it's going to be on their mind if you're messaging them. You know, hey, here's what's in Shakeology, or hey, here's why I decided to start today instead of wait a month, that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm all fired up.
No, that's awesome. Thank you.
That would be a good live video. I kind of want to go watch that now.
It was good. I was like, really? You're really checking what's in your McDonald's that you're going through?
Yeah, I watched that and I thought it was really good. I watched you. I was like, oh yeah.
I like got really close to the camera. I'm like, really? You're really doing that? It was fun. But yeah, that's what I would encourage you guys, and go, like Sam said earlier, go back to those live videos. Like, be real and honest. And I've been saying, I'm going to share publicly what I'm talking about as far as coaching and as far as this healthy lifestyle publicly. So if you guys have questions and I don't know the answer, I'm going to research it and then I'm going to share it. I've been very open about that recently on my page.
So before we run out of time, Kara, was asking, she wants her network to grow faster. So do you guys have tips on what you do to grow your network? I'm on Instagram right now. I know you mentioned you're on Facebook. That was going so slowly for me, so I'm not expanding my network at all on Facebook anymore. I'm purely doing Instagram, and I use Instagress, Gress, and that's a site that likes and comments on posts for you for the sole intention of them visiting my page. But a lot of where my coaches and stuff come from is me finding them through hashtags. So I suggest thinking of your ideal coach and your ideal client and thinking of what hashtags they use in their posts and go find them. They're not good. They don't come to me. So my tip is you have to go to them. You have to go find them.
I'm proof Instagram works because that's how I found Sam.
Yeah.
I would just suggest, I was kind of watching her topic or her questions and stuff in the chat too. I add like crazy and then I form them right away. I use that recently added thing and I form and I make friends, and it's not always a fast turnaround. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's going to take a few months for them to build that relationship, and maybe Instagram is a lot faster than that. But, I've got people in my challenge groups now that I've never met that were random ads that I talked to about taking their kids to the zoo, or do they have a photography business or whatever, that made a connection and made them watch. So, I think that forming and relationship building is really the key, but it's not going to be overnight.
All right. It's 9 p.m. Any last minute thoughts, concerns, questions, struggles? Happy thoughts?
I think we should make this group like once you hit Success Club 5 or 10 by the 10th that we do a group like this. And that way everyone's pushing in the beginning instead of the day of.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I have a quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, so Addie was talking about how she formed before when she adds. So when you add people, so I'm about to create a group tonight, and I've added about 20 people within the last couple of days. I have not sent my hey girl, message. Would you add them to your large event, or do you wait till you form them to add them or invite them to like a large group, challenge group?
I add everybody to my event every time.
Even if you haven't talked
Even if I haven't talked to them. And then I use the recently added friends thing like we talked about earlier, and then I just form the snot out of people. Like, I didn't parties for me.
Okay. So that's what I'll do, because I didn't want to seem like I just added you on Monday, and then today I'm inviting you to a challenge group where I want your money. So I didn't know how that would look, but I guess if I'll just add them.
I didn't really think about it like that, but to me, it's better than someone sticking me in a group.
Sure, yeah, very true, because I do not like being in groups where I don't, yeah. Okay. I will add them all then.
Options with events, you know, you can ignore those a lot more easy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll add them all then.
All right, you guys. Well, we will end this call. If you guys have any questions or ideas or anything, make sure to reach out to your upline because that's what we're here for. We want all of you to hit Success Club 10 this month. So push yourselves, do your daily action items, and use us for support. That's what we're here for. And thank you guys for hopping on. Maybe we'll do this next month, but a little bit sooner.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Ben, what's wrong?